I want you to think about the last time you actually had to use your English. And I don't mean studying. I don't mean practicing in your head in the shower. I mean a real situation. Job interview, phone call with a stranger, showing up somewhere new and having to just talk to people. And something happened, right? Something that probably drives you a little crazy when you think about it, because you knew the words, you'd studied, you'd prepared, whatever. But the moment it got real, something just switched off. Your brain went blank, or everything came out slow and stiff and weird, and you walked away thinking, what the was that? I know English. Why does this keep happening? Well, I'm going to tell you exactly why, and I'm going to tell you how to fix it, because I've been on both sides of this thing, and what I figured out genuinely changed everything. Real quick, my name is Venya, and I've been an English teacher for many, many years, online and offline, and I am not a native English speaker, and I want to put that out there right away because it's kind of the whole point of what I'm about to say. I learned English from scratch. No English speaking family. I didn't grow up abroad, none of that. And at some point along the way, I got to a level where people genuinely can't tell. I've been teaching English for years, like I said, and I worked with a ton of students at every level, and I keep seeing the same pattern come up again and again. So what I'm sharing today, this isn't stuff that I just read somewhere. It's something that I actually lived and what I've watched work for a lot of people. So here's the thing that almost nobody talks about. Most English learners, intermediate, advanced, doesn't matter. They walk around thinking their problem is vocabulary or grammar. And look, I totally understand why. Those are the things that schools test. Those are the things that teachers hammer on. Those are the things you can actually point to and measure. So when you feel stuck, your brain naturally goes, okay, I need more words. I need more grammar. I need more something. But here's what's actually going on when you freeze up in a real conversation. The vocabulary didn't disappear. It's still there. What happened is the second it got real, the second there was an actual person on the other end waiting for you to say something, your brain switched into this kind of low-key panic mode, and you started watching yourself very closely. Every sound, every word, every possible thing you might mess up. And that tension, that internal noise, that's what people are actually picking up on. Not your accent, not some grammar mistake, the tension. And I know it might sound like a small distinction, but it's actually kind of a big deal, because if your problem is vocabulary, yeah, go study more vocabulary. But if your problem is that your mouth and your brain lose their connection the second the pressure is on, studying more words isn't going to do anything for you. You need something completely different. Clear English isn't perfect English. It's relaxed. And relaxed English comes down to one thing: actually feeling good about the way you sound, which brings me to something that honestly kind of winds me up. Pronunciation is probably the most brushed off skill in all of English education. Schools skip it. Most tutors skip it. Most online courses skip it. And, you know, in the rare situations it does get covered, it's just those phonetics charts, symbols, rules that have almost nothing to do with how a real human being actually sounds when they're just talking. Now let's think about this for a second. Native speakers, they are not careful. They're not trying to nail every sound perfectly. They're doing the opposite of that. They're completely relaxed. They chop sounds up. They glue words together. They ride the rhythm that makes everything feel very smooth and effortless. And that effortlessness isn't just some gift they were born with, for the most part. It's just what happens when you've said things a certain way your whole life and you completely stopped thinking about it. For example, I am going to go to the store versus I'm going to go to the store. Same words, completely different person. One of those sounds like someone reading from a study book or something, and the other one sounds like someone who actually has a life. And the difference isn't vocabulary, it isn't grammar, it's rhythm, it's flow, it's being willing to let the words connect instead of landing each one like its own separate announcement. And that gap between textbook English and real English, bridging that gap is what pronunciation work is actually for. And once you start training that way, things shift pretty fast. So let me walk you through 3 things that I found actually make a difference. And just to be clear, these aren't tips I pulled off some list. These are things I worked out myself over the years of learning and then confirmed by watching them work for a lot of my students. So number 1, stress. And I'm not talking about when you pull your hair out. I'm talking about, actually how native speakers talk. And this probably goes against everything you've been told, but native speakers aren't thinking about pronunciation at all, obviously. They're stressing the most important words and letting everything else kind of fade. English has this natural pulse, this beat, and when you land on it, when your stress pattern feels right to someone's ear, you can actually get away with a lot of imperfect sounds and grammar underneath it because the overall shape of the word just makes sense. Check it out. This is the best day of my life. This is the best day of my life. That's not lazy English, that's just English. And if you start noticing that, you hear it literally everywhere. Number 2, contractions. And I know, sounds too simple, but stick with me. When you say, I would like to schedule a meeting for tomorrow, you sound like a very polite robot. But when you say, I'd like to schedule a meeting for tomorrow, you sound like a person. Exact same meaning, completely different vibe. And this plays out everywhere. Every single one of those little compressions or contractions, they shift how natural you come across and they stack up really fast. Should have done, should have done. Could not have said it better myself. Couldn't have said it better myself. You know what I mean? If you take just one thing from this video, and I hope you take more, all of it, hopefully. But if you take just one thing and you just start doing it, make it contractions. This is the fastest single upgrade to how natural your English sounds. It's almost unfair how much it helps. And number 3, I know it sounds insane and no other English teacher has told you this before, but relax your mouth. Bear with me, I know it sounds crazy, but when you're nervous or self-conscious about your English, your jaw tightens up, your mouth goes stiff, and every word comes out a little bit clipped and a little bit over-controlled. And here's the thing, careful sounds unnatural. Always. There's this physical looseness that native speakers have when they talk, this ease, and you can hear it. You can absolutely hear the difference between someone who is very tense and someone who is just comfortable. So a big part of what I work on with students is actually physical, learning how to loosen up and shake it off and let go of the grip and stop treating every word like it might blow up in your face. And look, the goal isn't to sound American or British or anyone specific. It's to sound like you're not trying. I know it's a bit counterintuitive, but it's true because the less you try to control every little sound, the better you actually sound, which is kind of annoying when you first realize it, but it's also kind of liberating. And I want to tell you where all of this comes from because I think it actually matters. When I was learning English, there was nobody around to explain any of this to me. No teacher, no course, no one. And I don't say that to be dramatic. I say it because I had to figure it out in this very unglamorous trial and error kind of way. I'd watch interviews and movies and TV shows and just pause them and stare at people's mouths, try to reverse engineer what was happening physically when a sound came out in a certain way. I'd repeat the same sentence over and over, record myself, listen, and think, yeah, I think I got it, or that's not it, and then I go again. And at some point, I remember this period pretty clearly. Something started to shift, not like an overnight transformation, nothing that dramatic like in movies or something like that, just this quiet feeling that I was starting to actually not completely hate the sound of my own English. And the moment that happened, the moment I stopped being embarrassed about how I sounded, I started speaking so much more in every situation. Even when I couldn't find the right word, even when I made mistakes, I just kept going because the foundation felt solid enough that mistakes didn't really knock me off anymore. And my English genuinely took off after that. Vocabulary, fluency, comfort, and real conversations. All of it grew so fast because I was using it constantly instead of dodging it, and avoiding it whenever I could. Pronunciation wasn't the last thing I worked on. It was the thing that made everything else just click into place. Because here's what I realized looking back. I was never really embarrassed about my grammar. I wasn't embarrassed about my vocabulary. I was embarrassed about how I sounded. That was the whole thing. And once that changed, everything else followed. And I've seen this happen with so many students now that it doesn't even surprise me anymore, but it still gets me every time because it's a pretty amazing transformation. So look, if any of this is landing for you right now, if you're nodding along because you recognize that feeling of your English just checking out and leaving when you need it most, I want you to know that it's not some something that is fixed about you. It's not your accent. It's not your background. It's not that you're somehow not cut out for this. It's a skill gap. And skill gaps get filled easily. Inside pronunciation hacking, we get into everything, every sound, exactly how to pronounce it, where your tongue actually goes, where your lips do, all of it. We work on rhythm and reductions and how native speakers connect words in real speech so that it flows smoothly instead of just trying to stumble along one word at a time. That's not what we do. And more than any of that technical stuff, we build the kind of confidence where you stop hearing your own accent as something to fix. You start hearing your English as something that belongs to you, something you own, something that actually represents you the way you want to be represented. Because your English doesn't grow in silence. It grows when you feel good enough to actually use it. The link is going to be down below in the description box. And I hope to see you on the inside. I'm Venya, and I'm an English teacher, but I'm also just a guy who learned English and allowed this language to change my life in the most unexpected ways and open doors that I didn't even know existed. And I really hope that in the near future, I can help you say the same. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one or inside of the course. Bye. Peace.